Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into Wahoo's top-of-the-line smart bike, the KICKR Bike Pro. We've gone through what all the experts are saying, so if you're even thinking about dropping the cash on this thing, you're definitely in the right place.
All right, here's what we're going to cover. First, why even get a premium smart bike? Then, what actually makes this thing pro? We'll talk about the ride experience, how accurate it is, and then the big one, pro versus the cheaper Shift model. And we'll wrap it all up with the final verdict from the experts. Let's get into it.
So, first things first, the premium promise. What's the ultimate convenience here? I mean, why would anyone spend thousands on a dedicated indoor bike?
I think the 5K runner just puts it perfectly with this quote. It's all about getting rid of the excuses. It's always there, always ready to go. You just jump on and ride. There's no faffing about with carrying your muddy bike inside, cleaning it, hooking it up to a trainer, none of that. That seamless jump on and ride experience, that's the premium promise.
All right, section 2, what actually makes this bike pro? Let's look at the design evolution.
So, Ruler Magazine really hit the nail on the head here. This isn't some brand new revolutionary bike. It's an evolution. Wahoo's basically taken what already worked with the first two versions and just polished it. They've added some key refinements.
And what are those refinements? Well, take a look. It's all about the touch points, the stuff you actually feel and interact with. You've got an upgraded saddle and bar tape, redesigned handlebars, and those integrated Zwift controls are a nice touch. A big complaint from reviewers about the older models was that for the price, some parts just felt a little cheap. These upgrades are all about fixing that, making it feel as premium as it costs.
And speaking of that cost, yep, $4,000. This is a serious piece of kit. We're talking top of the market here.
Okay, so for $4,000, it's gotta be an amazing ride, right? Let's talk about the actual experience, the feel and the sound.
First up, the big one. Wahoo's signature feature, the physical tilt, is back. And man, it is still a game changer. The whole bike physically pitches up for climbs, all the way to a crazy 20%, and then tilts down for descents to minus 15%. It's what makes this bike so immersive. It really is the star of the show.
But here's a really important question for anyone training inside. How quiet is it? I mean, this can be a total deal breaker, right? Especially if you've got family or neighbors to worry about.
Well, the consensus is that it's quieter. It's definitely an improvement over the older models, but it is not silent. A few reviewers mentioned this distinct flywheel hum or even a metallic whistle. And here's where things get really interesting, because when you compare it to Wahoo's cheaper bike Shift, which DC Rainmaker calls dead silent, well, that's a pretty huge difference to think about.
And here's something else that a lot of reviewers were a bit bummed about. The bike is totally rigid, there's no side-to-side movement like you get on Wahoo's KICKR Move trainer. And for a flagship $4,000 bike, that just feels like a real missed opportunity. It's a feature they already have, so why isn't it here?
Okay, so the ride feel has some big ups and a few downs. But what about the numbers? Let's talk performance under pressure and test that accuracy.
So Wahoo's claim is plus or minus 1% accuracy. And let me tell you, in the world of power meters, that is pretty much the gold standard.
And does it live up to the hype? Oh yeah, check this out. Smart bike trainers put it head-to-head with some super accurate Asioma power meter pedals, and the results, they're just insane. The difference was less than 1/4 of a watt. You literally cannot get closer than that. It's basically perfect.
But to keep things balanced, we have to mention this. The 5K runner had a different experience. In his testing, he found the KICKR Pro was consistently reading about 3% higher than his pedals. Now, he's quick to point out that he can't prove which one is right, but it's a consistent difference, and that's something you definitely want to know, especially if you're trying to match your indoor power to your outdoor rides.
And all of this brings us to what might be the biggest question of all for anyone looking at a Wahoo bike, the Pro versus the Shift. Is the Pro really worth $1,000 more?
Okay, let's break this down, and a lot of this comes from DC Rainmaker's super detailed comparison. So with a Pro, that extra $1,000 gets you the physical tilt for climbing and a motor that actually drives the flywheel on descents, which feels really cool. You also get race mode for super fast data, which is a big deal for serious virtual racers. The trade-off? The Pro is not dead silent like the Shift is, and the Shift actually has a slightly better frame design that solves a thigh rub problem some people had. So yeah, there are some real trade-offs to consider.
All right, let's wrap this all up.
After all the testing and analysis, what's the final verdict from the experts?
So, the good stuff is really good. Everyone agrees the jump-on and ride convenience is just incredible. Those new premium touch points, they make a huge difference in how the bike feels. The gradient simulation is still amazing, maybe the best in the business. And the connectivity is rock solid, which is absolutely crucial if you're racing online.
But it's not a perfect picture. That $4,000 price tag is, it's a lot. The fact that it doesn't have any side-to-side movement feels like a big miss for a top-end bike. A few people mentioned that switching it between different riders can be kind of a pain. And yeah, we've talked about it, it's not totally silent. Oh, and having to buy a separate adapter for a wired internet connection on a $4,000 bike, that just feels a bit cheap.
So when you boil it all down, who is this bike really for? It's for the person who wants the absolute peak experience. You want the best features, the most realism, and that ultimate convenience of an all-in-one system. If you want the best of what Wahoo offers and you're not willing to compromise, this is it.
And that really leaves you with one final, crucial question. It's not about which bike is better, but which bike is better for you. Are you buying peak performance and immersive realism no matter the cost? Or is silent operation and streamlined simplicity plus $1,000 back in your pocket what you're really after? Your answer to that is your choice.